Hard sports all plays. Yeah. Hard sports all plays. Hard sports all plays. 365, we making a plays. You talking the game, get you through the days. We're high in the court, the dime in the lane. Variety, topics, living the same. All presentation, sports information. Hitting the airways, taking the nation. All sport, all plays, they working your faces. Grace at the field, so tie the laces. Hard sports all plays. Yeah.
All right, what's happening, everybody? Welcome to Easy Money, a sports betting show. Excuse me. Tuesday, October 17, 2023.
What day is it?
I had to think there for a bit. Oh, man. But had a pretty good, decent game last night. Low-scoring game. Again, I don't know. I think we've seen a lot this year. A lot of bad clock management in the NFL. I mean, we see it in college football too, but you're seeing a lot of it in the NFL where you think you wouldn't see as much. But I got a few games tonight. Only one baseball game tonight.
How'd you do on your picks? I didn't do worth a damn.
I went 2-1 yesterday.
I did. I had 6 games total with hockey and everything. I ended up 2-4, so I didn't do real good.
I was right on the 2 baseball games, and then I took the Chargers to win to beat the Cowboys, and they should have won that game. But
yeah, I don't know what the Chargers are going to do. They seem like they have talent.
hey, how's it going, Billy?
They get injuries every year too. I just don't. I would think that coach is gone after this year. What do you think?
Unless they was to turn it around.
Yeah. But if Dallas loses that game, we're kind of talking the same way about Dallas, in a way.
Yeah,
because they're kind of similar teams.
Why you don't take the field goal before halftime to tie the game up made no sense to me. And then that comes back to haunt you.
Yep.
Herbert missed a few throws that he usually makes as well, but yeah, some of the decisions, and even and not just the Chargers, even some of the decisions the Cowboys make, coaches don't make a lot of sense. And you saw what happened with the Giants on Sunday night. I understand analytics is a part of the game, but it's became so much about analytics that now it's like coaches don't even value getting points. It used to be get points. Always take the points. Now we see everybody turning down field goals like they mean nothing, and then them 3 points can come back and haunt you at the end of the game. It makes no sense.
Already this year, I've seen it come back to haunt a lot of teams already. Pro and college.
Just off the top of my head, Colts, Giants, Chargers.
Been a couple more too.
Yeah, there's been other ones too.
One thing about the NFL has been pretty entertaining this year. I don't think there's, as of right now, I mean, of course, last week we would have been saying San Francisco was up above everybody, but right now I don't think you can say there's a clear-cut favorite at the moment. Especially with the injury San Francisco faced. Some people might think Miami, but we've seen how Buffalo handled them. And, sometimes matchups can be tough. But look, the way Jacksonville plays the Colts all the time. So,
I still think San Francisco's the best team right now. I know they didn't look great the other night, but they also lost a lot during that game and injuries. Their quarterback kind of looked human for once in a regular season game.
yep. We lost 3 possible Pro Bowlers in that game. Honestly, an offensive lineman and a receiver who can also run the football, and they're at that point the best running back in the league.
Actually, maybe 4. Well, he didn't go out, but Purdy didn't play great.
No,
so,
but I mean he didn't.
Yeah, he didn't get hurt.
As far as I know.
Billy said he's happy the Jets beat the Eagles.
I am too. You know what? I hope that quarterback turns things around and has a good career. I mean, I really do. I know they've got Rodgers there now, but that don't mean he still can't have a good career later on. I hope he turns it around and proves people wrong.
I hope they Jets keep winning some games because I want to see Aaron Rodgers come back this season. I think he's planning on coming back this year.
I think he's coming back, and some people think for the playoffs. I think, but if they're in good shape, I won't be surprised to see Aaron Rodgers back in December. If he's already throwing the ball and walking without crutches, it's October. We're only talking 2 months.
Yeah,
and he's pretty crazy.
It'll be crazy if he does come back. I think the quickest is like 5 months, and that was a running back. I mean, the way Rodgers plays, I mean, yeah, you have to be able to move some, but it's not like he runs a lot. So,
yeah.
I mean,
the offensive line's going to have to protect him because, I mean, there was times that
the offensive line's got to play better.
That quarterback at times, man, was. I mean, of course, I want my Colts to win the Super Bowl. I don't think we're there anywhere close to that right now, but I'll tell you a team I would love to see come out of nowhere and win it. Detroit Lions.
They have a good team.
They have a good team. They're getting better. So all the time. So we'll see what they can do. I look forward to. I'd like to see them make a good playoff run this year at least.
Detroit's been good. I mean, they only lost to 1 game. They should have won. Really should have won that game.
Yeah, they shouldn't have lost that game. So.
Seahawks won it.
Yep. Chris, going back to baseball for a second, why do you think it was, and it's been that way for a few years now, why teams are like Dodgers, especially in the Braves the last 2 years, have won so many games during the regular season and just fold up in the playoffs?
Oh man,
I don't know. Can you say that they're built for the regular season? Because they got good pitching, they got good hitting. So especially Atlanta, because Atlanta had really good pitching and hitting.
With the Dodgers with them, I was never really sold on their pitching. But I don't know if it's these teams win all these games and they get a little complacent and maybe they overlook that first team in the playoffs. But I mean, if you're the Braves, you should. I mean, there was no. I mean,
well, both of them last year. This year it happened again, and it happened to them last year. So complacent they shouldn't be. I mean, because look what happened last year to both of them. So they shouldn't be that. I wouldn't think.
I don't know if you can really put your finger on one thing. I think it's more of just the way baseball is. You go through spurts where you're playing your best, and then other times you're not.
Do you think setting out that first series can hurt you? And not playing? Having so many days off?
I mean, it can, but wasn't there some other teams that had to sit out too?
Well, let's just see. The Dodgers set out and the Braves set out. It was on the National League, wasn't it? And both of them got eliminated pretty quick. On the other side, who set out? I'm trying to remember.
Houston.
Did Houston set out? I think so. Let's see. Baltimore had a real good record, wasn't it?
Yeah, Baltimore had a good record.
I think Baltimore set out, and was it Houston that was the other team that set out? Because Texas put out Baltimore. And Houston played Minnesota. I think Minnesota put somebody out, and then Houston played them, right? Is that correct?
Yeah. I can't remember off the top of my
Yeah,
head.
I think Minnesota put somebody out. Yeah, Minnesota put somebody out, and then Houston put them out. So yeah, Houston is really the only one that made it to the next round.
I think that I guess I could hurt you a little bit because the other team has a chance to get a little momentum in that first wild card round. But I mean, baseball is just a weird sport. I mean, uh, I think a lot of it is just who's hot, especially when you get to the playoff this time of year. Is who gets hot? And right now, it looks like the Phillies are one of those teams that are hot,
In Texas.
and the Rangers have been real hot. But Phillies somehow have been able to. They figured it out the last couple seasons of how to maybe be playing their best baseball second half of the season toward the end of the year. Because I mean, if you look last year with the Phillies, it wasn't very good first half of the season. No. Fired their coach and fired their manager last year. New manager takes over, and hell, they get hot at the right time, end up making the World Series. Yeah, the Twins took out the Blue Jays.
Okay. Yeah.
And then they make the World Series, and they come back this year. They go off to Phillies go off to kind of a slow start, had some injury stuff, got off to a slow start. Now, toward the end of the season, they started playing their best baseball again. So it's and if you look at it, this year, the playoff. I'm not saying the playoffs have been bad because they haven't been bad, but we haven't seen the back and forth series like we usually see.
It was a lot better last year, no doubt.
I mean, usually you see some series going, even the first ones, maybe some 3 games or 5 games. We haven't really seen that. It's just been pretty much one team taking control of the series.
I think Houston's in trouble, but I wouldn't count them out because, I mean, they've been here before. I mean, they could beat Texas tomorrow and be right back in the series. So I don't think you can count them out. But Texas is awful hot right now. So I definitely think Houston's in trouble, no doubt. Arizona, I think, has to. Of course, Arizona is playing at Philadelphia right now.
The Rangers took out the Rays.
Yep. So Arizona's playing at Philly right now, ain't they? Yes. Because Philadelphia's the home team. You know, you can't say that. It's a little different because Arizona would be going back home if they lose tonight. Where Astros they're going to Texas for these next 2. So Arizona needs a win tonight, though. I think the experience, because again, Philadelphia was there last year, so I think experience means something. But
I think the key for Arizona tonight is they need to get out to a lead. They got to take that crazy ass Philly fan base out of the game early. You can't let what happened last night, where Schwarber leads off the game with a home run, and then 2 batters later, Harper hits a home run, and that Philly fan base is it now. They're in the game the whole game because they got a lead. They're fired up. Arizona needs to get that lead early and kind of silent that crowd a little bit.
I agree.
And I think they might have a chance to take a little bit of that momentum. But if you let that building get loud like it was last night, it's hard to fight. It's hard to fight back into a game like that because that Phillies team they feed off that as well.
Yeah, and Arizona plays more of a small ball in a way, so they're really not made to come back. They're more to play with a lead, or a close game. Getting down 4-0, right away is not. And Houston, they did everything they could to try to come back. They got down 4-5-0. They did everything they could. But their problem was they couldn't get anybody on base. They'd have guys hit solo home runs, but nobody on base.
Yeah.
And one thing I was impressed with that pitcher for Texas yesterday, man, he never got rattled. Even though he gave up a solo home run, he never got rattled. Got the 6 innings in. I was really impressed with him. I'm really impressed with Texas right now. The leadoff batter is Simeon is tough. Man, he's tough.
They got a good manager. That was a good hire.
That was a real good hire. I wish the Reds would have hired him.
Reds weren't going to hire a manager for a while, it looks like.
No, don't look like it.
They gave theirs an extension quick. I wouldn't have given them an extension that early.
I think it was too early. Going back to football real quick, I agree with you. I think San Francisco is the team I still would give the edge to if I was going to do a power ranking. I think number 2 right now, I think you'd have to put Kansas City just because of their experience. Some people are going to say Miami. Miami still got more to prove to me. I'd put them in top 5, but I don't think I'd put them 1 or 2.
Honestly, personally, I'd put the Lions ahead of the Dolphins.
I don't disagree with you. I think right
I
now,
like the way the Lions defense is playing and their offense kind of complementing each other. I still wonder a little bit about the Dolphins defense.
What do you think? San Francisco 1. I'd have KC 2, Detroit 3, maybe 3. I don't know. Let me see who else we got there. I think Detroit and Miami's in there in the top 5. Who would be that? Who would be the other team? You think? I don't think Dallas yet.
Probably Philly, even though they haven't.
Yeah.
Even though they haven't looked as impressive as last year.
I think I'd go Philly 3, Detroit 4, Miami 5. What do you think? How does that sound?
Yeah. Kansas City's offense worries me, but they do. It seems like they do that every year, every season toward the beginning of the season.
Did they officially hire him?
I don't know.
I know there was a story talking about it. But.
Yeah, I knew there was a story about that they might offer him the offense coordinator position, wasn't it?
I think it was.
I know the Steelers fans, they hate that.
Oh yeah, they're not real happy with that coordinator.
I'm looking to see if they have officially hired him. I hadn't heard I haven't seen anything.
Damien, who do you think the best team in the NFL is right now? Who's the best team? And don't tell me your Bears.
Yeah, I'm not seeing where they've hired him yet, but I have heard that he's their top option of trying to bring in. And honestly, I think it'd be
I think it'd be smart.
I think it'd be a good move. Hey,
Billy Buzz, if you're out there, who do you think the best team in football is right now, in your opinion?
But no, I think John Gruden would be a good move for the Steelers. I think he got screwed there in Vegas. I mean, you're investigating a whole nother team, and somehow all that comes out of that are emails that get Gruden fired.
Yes, scapegoat.
So there was more to that, but he's a good coach, and he knows offense. He's worked good with quarterbacks. You have a young quarterback there in Pittsburgh. Yeah, I think it'd be a good move.
I don't think he's been blackballed yet.
Hey, no, Billy, he hasn't been completely blackballed because he's a consultant. Well, I think he still is. I know he was toward the beginning of the season, during the offseason and beginning of the season. He was a consultant with the Saints offense. They hired him as a consultant, so I know he does have a lawsuit against the NFL. So it'll be interesting to see how that does work out. He said he's going to burn the house down. So I mean he's going after the NFL.
Yep,
So
yeah.
now you got a team that's wanting to hire him as an offensive coordinator. I know he's been a consultant with the Saints, so that'd be interesting to see how that works.
Billy Buzz said he thinks 49ers, and looks like he's sold on Miami.
Yeah, offensively, I think they were great. I still wonder if their defense is going to be good enough. Which I think Miami plays. They play a pretty good team, I think, this week, if I remember correctly.
Another thing I worry about Miami, how do you think they'll be if they get into that cold weather situation too? I think that can make a difference.
Yeah.
They got to stay healthy. But Miami, they put points on the board, man. But then why did Buffalo shut them down? That didn't make any sense. But heck, NFL don't make a lot of sense all the time. Did you figure out who Miami played?
No, I was waiting on it to load up.
Guys.
They might have a bye this week, maybe. Chargers and Dolphins and Eagles.
That'd be a good game.
49ers, Vikings, Packers, Broncos, Chargers,
Is
Chiefs.
it Dolphins at Eagles?
Yes.
Dolphins at Eagles. That's a tough game for Dolphins. Well, that'll. I mean, they played Buffalo. I believe, if I remember right, at Buffalo, and they got handled pretty good. Well, this will be another good test to see how they handle Philadelphia at Philadelphia.
And that's the thing. When we've seen Miami play a little bit of the better teams, we've seen play Buffalo, who everybody thinks is a pretty good team, other until they barely beat the Giants the other night. And, the Bills basically dominated the Dolphins that game.
They shut Hill down. And sometimes that happens. Sometimes a defensive coordinator, look with Schwartz with Cleveland. He plays the 49ers coach always has. Schwartz has always had his number. So, matchups matter.
I think some of that was Schwartz. Big part of it was Schwartz defense, but then also losing some players hurt you as well.
You can use McCaffrey, man. McCaffrey had hands down been the best running back this year, because of his catching and running ability. He's been the number one running back. There's some other good running backs out there too. A couple of surprises because Mostert from Miami's having a great season, and the other guy, I think he got hurt though from Miami.
Yep.
Come out of nowhere and played really well too. But but McCaffrey had been really, really good, and losing him is big. I don't know if he's going to be out or not. They're not really saying a whole lot.
McCaffrey was right up there for MVP. Especially,
I agree.
Especially for any non-quarterback player.
Right now, there's not a quarterback stands out. Would you say? For MVP right now, really stands out?
Oh, man. No, not probably just way out there. I would have said Purdy was up there, but then he just had a bad game.
A lot of people are going to be on tours.
Yeah.
If they keep winning, possibly, but
but Jared Goff's played pretty well.
Goff has played well. That's true. He's played really well. Yeah, I think Goff could be up there in that. I mean, unfortunately, some people won't put him up there because he's never been up there before.
But going into this week before McCaffrey got hurt, I would say McCaffrey probably because he's basically good for a touchdown, at least one touchdown every game.
Usually two, one catching and one running.
Damon said Eagles made a smart move getting Julio Jones. It depends. It's hard for me to gauge that because Julio really hasn't done much the last couple of years. Hasn't been able to stay healthy, and then when he has been healthy for some reason, just hasn't seemed like
since he left Atlanta, he's really done nothing.
Yeah, hasn't been seemed like he's been able to be real effective.
2 or 3 years ago, me and you both wanted the Colts to get him, and he's really done nothing. But you never know.
I mean, I've always been a fan of Julio, so I'd like to see him bounce back and have a good year. Have a good year. Billy said he's always been a golf fan. I think golf's underrated.
He got a raw deal.
Golf's underrated, I think. They're playing. He's playing just as good as about anybody right now.
I agree. I would love. It wouldn't if my Colts ain't going nowhere. I'd love to see the Lions do well and win it all. Wouldn't bother me a bit.
No, just fuck. They've been bad for so long.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
I don't think they've ever been good since I've been alive. Really.
Not really. Even with some of the great players they had, they never really went anywhere. I mean, they had one of the best receivers of all time and one of the best running backs of all time.
Yeah, it sucks, especially now. It sounds like he's probably going to miss the rest of the season having surgery. Richardson. I don't know if he'd have got Rookie of the Year just because of how good Stroud's has been playing so far. Yep. I think Stroud's probably in the lead for that. But Richardson, I think, would have had a shot because he was playing well when he's on the field. That's been his problem, staying healthy.
One thing that might have helped Richardson over Houston. I'm not trying to put Houston down because who knows how it's going to end up. But I think if Richardson would have played and the Colts won games and possibly contended for the division or won the division, that would have helped him maybe over Stroud, maybe a little bit. But don't look like that's going to be an issue now. Stroud's looked really good.
Yeah, Stroud's looked good. Richardson was looking. I thought was playing well. I liked what I was seeing out of him. You could see from game to game, you could see a little bit of improvement. I liked how he's quick making decisions. That's what I liked. He'd look down the field if there wasn't nothing there, he would go. I mean, he did. It looked like he was processing stuff pretty quick. But then now, what? I mean, it sucks that he's hurt. But what really sucks for the Colts is it sucks because I mean we have Minshew. We might win some games this year. Might still be okay. But what sucks for the Colts is you needed Richardson, whether you win or lose. You needed Richardson out there playing, getting those reps to keep developing. Now you're basically almost losing a year of him development because if he ends up being out the whole season.
Yep.
The way it sounds like he's going. From everything I'm hearing, it sounds like he's going to have surgery. And
Do you think there may be erring on the side of caution that they don't want him to come back and possibly get injured, and because there's been a lot of people have been critical, and the offensive line ain't played. It really wasn't the offensive line's fault that he got hurt.
No, offensive line's been good.
I mean, but a lot of people was critical of the way Manning took hits, especially the way Luck took hits. And hurt his career. You think maybe they're trying to make sure this dude don't get banged up and ruin his career? You think that's part of it?
I could play into it a little bit, but the offensive line has definitely not been the problem this year. Offensive line is ranked 4th or 5th in the NFL. Offensive line's been good this year. And I mean, it might a little bit, but if you look back at Luck, and I'm a Colts fan. I was a big Andrew Luck fan. I hated that he retired. And I do say that some of it is the Colts' failure to protect them, but there's also a big part of what happened to Luck that was on Luck as well, because he would hold on the ball when he shouldn't have. He'd hold on the ball too long, and take some hits that he shouldn't have. Now, don't get me wrong. There was also the Colts didn't do a good enough job of getting the offensive line in front of them either.
Yeah, I agree with you.
Who do the Colts right now? Gardner Minshew is going to be the starter for the Colts. Billy,
he played good till last week. Had a bad, and I was going to ask you about that. Why do you think things went so bad in that game, Chris? For Minshew, he looked really good. You think they just had his number, had the right defense? I mean, the whole team played bad that game. So
one thing is, I think our game plan was terrible, and I like Steichen. I think Steichen's done a good job, but that was, to me, his worst game plan that we've had all season. You're going. I think they kind of outsmarted themselves. I think they looked, Jacksonville's good against the run. So they went in there and they just came out throwing the ball. Only ran the ball 5 times in the first half. If you look at all the Colts games this year, we've ran the ball, and that's where it helps open up our pass game because we don't have the best receivers at creating separation. So you need to get that run game going so the guys come up worrying about the run. And that's something I think we're going to miss with Richardson out, is because he was such a big threat to run as well. But I think it was that. I think our game plan, and then Minshew just I don't know what it was, but it didn't look like he had much on the ball. There was a lot of balls that were just kind of floating. It was like it didn't look like he had much zip on the ball. And earlier in the year, I've seen him have pretty good zip on the ball. But for some reason, Sunday he didn't seem to have that.
He didn't look the same. That's for sure.
But I think a lot of it was the game plan. I just think
he looked good the first drive, and then after that, he didn't look the same. Maybe he got banged up.
Any minor, but we got way away from the run way too quick, and I think that was a big part of it. I really do. We're not going to win a whole lot of games if we have Minshew throwing the ball 55 times.
Richardson throwing 55 times.
No, I mean that's not our recipe for success. We'll see what they look like against. Now you're playing one of the best defenses in the league. So it's going to be interesting what kind of game plan. We have to go against Cleveland. I know they're a good defense, but we got to try to run the ball. You got to try to get some kind of run game going. We're going to have a hard time just going and beating teams if we can't run the ball. We don't have that. We don't have a Tyreek Hill or some of these other guys that can create separation. We don't have that kind of receiver on our team. We don't have a Stephon Diggs. We don't have that kind of weapon. Now, don't get me wrong. I loved our rookie receiver Downs. I think he's going to be real good. I think they should get him involved more.
We'll still need another receiver. Of course, I'd love to see
our tight ends are disappointing me.
Yeah, I agree. I'd love to see us get Marvin Harrison Jr. And I really like what I've seen of that receiver from Washington this weekend. I watched him play. Man, he looked really good. So I liked him a lot. Maybe a possible guy like that coming to the Colts next year. But yeah, we need some receiver help. What do you think we got to do to like I said, I think we got to run the football. Cleveland ain't got as good as the offense as Jacksonville. So that may help us some.
Yeah. I think we got to get a running game going some. Our defense is going to have to play more like they played earlier in the year and than what they played against Jacksonville. Our defense, some penalties killed us.
Yes. We both sides of the ball we didn't play real well. Definitely our worst game of the year, and it showed.
And we had chances to. I mean, we had a chance to get right back in that game, and it just seemed like we'd always do something to shoot ourselves in the foot.
Damon said, "Leave him alone. He's coming to the Bears." I don't blame him, man. He's good. Let me ask you, Damon, if you guys have the first two picks, of course you want Harrison, but do you take a quarterback or do you believe in Fields? Or do you want? But I think him that thought Williamson's going to be a bust. Somebody the other day said he thought the guy from USC was going to be a bust. Can't remember if
I think it was Damien.
So he probably don't want Williams. Phoenix. He was Phoenix from Washington.
And Fields is hurt right now. So
yeah, I don't think Phoenix would hold up in the NFL body wise.
He ain't no smaller than Bryce Young,
but he's been injury prone in college. That's what I'm saying. He's been injury prone in college.
Right now, and
yeah, Billy. Me and him would like to go to the game and show. Hopefully, we'll catch one. I'd like to be going to this game this weekend with Cleveland.
We got Diamondbacks and Phillies tonight. Phillies are 1.5 run favorites, -162 on the money line. Diamondbacks are +136. Over-unders at 7.5 runs. You have Kelly on the mound for the Diamondbacks. He's 1-0 with a 0.00 ERA in the playoffs. Phillies will have Nola on the mound, who's 2-0 with a 1.42 ERA in the playoffs. I like the Phillies. They're playing hot. Or they're hot right now. They're playing well. Their offense is getting hot, and their pitching has been on point. I think, like I said earlier, Arizona's opportunity to win tonight in Philly is they need to get out to a lead. They need to jump on the Phillies early, because if they don't jump on the Phillies early, and that crowd gets into it, I just think it's going to make it hard for them to get back.
I agree.
So I'm going to go with the Phillies on the money line.
I'm going with the Phillies on the money line also.
He thinks they draft a quarterback. He thinks Eberflus wants his own quarterback.
Well, Damien, who do you think they draft, though? Who would you draft at quarterback if you was going to draft a quarterback? Chris, did you take in college football tonight?
Yeah.
I did too. Did a couple games. Were you looking that up? I'll go ahead and do my college football real quick. I got Middle Tennessee at Liberty. I took Liberty minus the 14.5. And then I got Western Kentucky at Jacksonville State. And I'm going to go under the 60 on that game. That's going to be my two college picks.
I'm taking Liberty at the minus 14.5 as well against Middle Tennessee. Liberty's 6-0. Middle Tennessee's 2-5. They do have a common opponent. They both have played Jacksonville State this year. Middle Tennessee lost to Jacksonville State 45-30. Liberty beat Jacksonville State 31-13. Middle Tennessee is allowing close to 400 yards per game. Liberty allows just over 300 yards per game. So I'm going with Liberty at the minus 14.5. I think Liberty's going to be a little too much. Then you have Western Kentucky, Jacksonville State. Jacksonville State's 5-2. Western Kentucky's 4-2. I'm going with Western Kentucky at the minus 8.5. Their offense can put up a lot of points.
Can they? I went under 60, so we'll see how that goes.
And then I'm going to take South Alabama against Southern Mississippi. Southern Miss is 1-5. South Alabama is 3-3. That's minus 18.5. South Alabama has a pretty good offense as well. I think they're going to be able to put up some points. So I'm gonna go. So I'm gonna go with Liberty minus 14.5, Western Kentucky minus 8.5, and South Alabama at the minus 18.5. Damien says Bo Nix.
Yep. And also Billy Buzz, he thinks Justin will be plowing Fields for too long. Let me ask you real quick, and I've got a couple hockey picks, but if Fields leaves the Bears, who do you think would be interested in Fields? I think somebody would be.
Yeah, I think somebody will pick him up. But maybe a team like Washington, if they're not sold on Hal.
What about Carolina?
Maybe, but I don't know if they'll move off. Are they gonna move off Bryce Young after one season?
I forgot about Young.
But hell, with that owner, you never know. I mean, he's not a very patient owner, and hell, they've already took the play calling duties away from Frank Reich.
Yeah.
So I mean, who knows? Hell, he might. And we've seen teams who was Cardinals with Rosen draft him, and then after 1 year they draft Kyler Murray and
what about the Cardinals
away
with
from
the Kyler Murray situation?
Well, I think they might draft a quarterback depending on where they're at in the draft.
That's true.
If they have a bad enough year and they're up there, they might try to get either Williams or Penix or Drake May.
Who would you take?
I think Drake May's going to be a good one too.
Out of those 4 college quarterbacks, Williams, Penix, Nix, and guy from North Carolina. Who would you take? Who do you think you would take if you had that? You had a team and you was going to pick one.
I'd probably go with either Drake May or Penix.
Would you really? What worries you after what USC's quarterback looked like against Notre Dame? Did that worry you?
Well, not just against Notre Dame, but he looked rattled against Notre Dame. That does worry me some. But I like Penix's accuracy. That's the reason I say with Penix, and the same thing with Drake May too. With Williams, though, I've seen some games where he can be inaccurate, and it seems like when he gets under pressure, he panics a little bit. So that scares me there.
Nix is pretty accurate, but he has trouble winning the big game. I mean, Nix has had trouble winning that game. Whenever it's a big game, he hasn't won.
Well, that could be a good one, Damon. I could see the Patriots maybe going after a guy like Fields.
Yeah, that is good. That's a pretty good idea.
I think Mac Jones. I think Mac Jones is done in New England as well. So,
do you think? What about the Giants? Are they?
They could be to the point where they're done with Jones. I know. I think their offense looked a little bit better with Tyrod Taylor than it did with Jones the other night. I know they didn't score a lot of points, but just moving the ball down the field and not turning the ball over. I mean, they should have won that game. They should have won that game. Their defense played a hell of a game. And then
I thought Buffalo would blow them out. I mean, especially with a backup quarterback. I was expecting 35 points at least by Buffalo on the Giants, and complete opposite.
Oh no, I was too.
I got a couple of hockey picks real quick. I got Tampa Bay at Buffalo. I'm gonna go over. I'm gonna do a little different. I'm gonna go with the 6.5 goals and that, and then I've got Dallas at Vegas, and I'm gonna go Vegas money line.
I went with a couple of hockey games too. I went the Lightning money line.
Okay.
At the plus 108, they're underdogs.
Yep.
I went with the Avalanche money line against the Kraken. I think that was like minus 150 or something. And I went with the Golden Knights money line against the Stars.
Golden Knights are the best team in NHL last year.
I did wonder this. Why has the Stars only played one game?
I don't know. Vegas has played 3. Most teams only played 2, but I don't know why they've only played 1. I didn't it make sense to me either.
Or Damien Fields Distillers. I could see maybe that.
You think they would give up on him already? I mean, it's possible.
This is second year. Would be the second season.
What about Tennessee? So. I could see them giving up on that guy already.
Yeah, but they just drafted Levis as well.
Yeah, true.
and they got that Willis.
Yeah, I forgot about
So,
Levis. I was thinking well more Willis.
Yeah, I don't think they're sold on Willis, but I think they would probably see what they have with Levis
first.
before.
Yeah, you're right. I forgot about Levis.
Unless Levis. Well, it also depends on what they get to see Levis. Well, I think he's been hurt, but they get to see him in practice and shit and stuff too. So I mean, depending on what if they think he's. I was never sold on Levis, and a lot of people. Hell, there's a lot of people thought he was coming to Indianapolis.
He might end up Fields might end up a backup for a while.
And then, hell, our luck, Levis will probably come in Tennessee and be killing it. We took Richardson, and he can't stay healthy.
You think Belichick's now?
I don't think so yet. I think he'll be in New England at least one more year.
He's not spring chicken. He might just say, "Hell with this, man. This ain't for me no more." I got.
See, I don't think he's done coaching. Though. I think even if he was if New England decided to get rid of him, I think he'll go somewhere else. I don't think the problem is Bill's coaching. I think GM Bill is hurting Coach Bill.
Yeah, I agree.
They don't have the talent on that team they used to. They ain't been able to get find the quarterback. It seems like they can't get a receiver. The defense is still solid, but I think if I was New England, what I'd be trying to do is I'd be like, Bill, we want you as our coach, but you're not GM no more. We're going to bring in a GM to try to get some talent on this team, and you coach it.
Real quick, another team came to mind on Fields, and some people are going to say it's a stretch, and it wouldn't be for this year. Well, it wouldn't be for next year, maybe the year after. What about the Jets? And go play a year behind Rodgers.
Maybe I would say it would depend on how
the money.
Well, how Wilson finishes this season out, because he's showing some improvement, and so he might earn his spot to get that chance after Rodgers.
That's possible.
That should have been pass interference there too. I don't know how you don't call that.
Yeah, that was a bad call.
He was all over him.
Yeah, I thought it was pass interference too. I agree with you, Chris.
Yeah, I mean, he was all over his left shoulder the whole time. I don't know how that didn't get called.
Damien Hernandez, F no to the Jets.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting to see some of the moves. You got the trade deadline coming up here in a couple of weeks too. So
you think there'll be any trades?
I'm sure there will, because you're going to see some of these teams, maybe like the Vikings, that might try to trade some guys. Some of these teams that haven't golfed to a great start, might try to trade a few guys, and you're going to see some of these teams that want some guys.
Since a couple of weeks, and it'll help right now. Fields being hurt, but do you think that if they lost the next couple games, do you think they could trade Fields and try to get more draft capital? And know that the fact that they've got 4 quarterbacks to choose from, they got great receivers to choose from, and just say, let's get more picks. Do you think the Bears could do something like that? They could start Peterman.
Only reason I don't know. I mean, I guess they could, but the thing is, if you do that, are you going to bring in a whole new coaching staff again?
I think so.
Are you going to keep Eberflus?
I think Eberflus is done.
That's the thing. You just keep changing coaches every year.
I know.
I mean,
but I think why it's hurting him is that he's a defensive guy, and the defense ain't did shit. Too. Yeah, I think if his defense had been playing well, and they was just losing the game because of the offense, it might be a different story.
Yeah. No, I understand what you're saying, but man, it's just to me it's hard to build up a team if you keep changing the especially the coach and the quarterbacks.
I agree.
You got to have some kind of continuity there at some point.
Well, look at the guy they fired, Chris. They fired Lovey, 10-6. They took him to a Super Bowl, and they ain't done crap since then. They should have never fired him.
Same thing with the Lions. I mean, they fired Caldwell. Caldwell had a winning season, and look how long it took them to get.
Caldwell shouldn't have got fired from the Colts after.
No.
That wasn't his fault.
No. But you know what I mean? The Lions got rid of him, and look, they hired Patricia and all this, and now Now they're fine. Now the Lions are finally starting to.
I didn't even know Peterman was still in the league, and I seen that he was one of the backups for the Bears. I started cracking up laughing, and Damon's wishing horrible things on me.
I do like we're starting to see a trend with former players getting some of these coaching opportunities, and they're doing pretty good. You got Dan Campbell doing good in Detroit. D'Amico Ryans has got off to a good start with Houston.
Yes, I like Ryans.
Mike Vrabel's done pretty good there in Tennessee. So I like that you're starting to see some more of these, former players get some of these coaching jobs and are having some success.
Speaking of coaches, I've seen people might check it out. It's humor, so I mean, and I like humor. The Saturday Night Live did a skit. They had a character guy, one of their actors playing Deion Sanders. It's awesome. It was a part of their news thing, and they brought him on and interviewed him as Deion Sanders. It's freaking hilarious. It's pretty awesome. So you might check that out. Anybody out there? It was good.
They had Kelsey on there the other night too, wasn't he?
I think so. Yeah. I can't even think of the actor, the comedian that was playing him, but it was good. It was pretty funny.
I wonder what all these people that thought Colorado was going to go to the national championship this season are thinking now.
They got way ahead of themselves because you beat a TCU team that was overrated and it's only 3-3 now. And don't get me wrong, he's done a good job of Colorado.
He's done a real good job.
I'm not taking anything away from what he's doing, but
he's done a good job. But I said it from the beginning that they were getting overhyped.
Got way overhyped. I mean, they started putting after one game, they was putting that guy in his son in the Heisman race after one game. I mean, it's a long season. I mean, and not saying his son's not a good player. His son's a good player. I'm not taking anything away from him, but they get media. I mean, it just ain't fans. The media gets carried away. Maybe an assistant coach, maybe. I don't think Fitzgerald will be a head coach or anything like that.
Yeah, I think I could see him maybe getting a job in the NFL as assistant. I think he's going to end up getting another job out of college. I really do. I think he'll end up getting another shot out of college. You get probably a year or two, but I could see him maybe being an assistant.
I said, we'll take him to Ball State. We suck right now.
Yeah, oh yeah, Billy. I can't believe they blew that game.
I can't believe it either.
Yeah, surprised me that surprised me. I thought Notre Dame would beat USC, but I was surprised how dominant Notre Dame looked in that game against USC.
I was expecting a 3-point game. I thought Notre Dame had a good chance to beat them. I didn't expect that to happen.
But the problem is these teams and that's why I think it's going to hurt a lot of these teams out of the West. That like in the Pac-12, everybody was, they're the best conference in football this year. Well, offensively, you're probably correct, but a lot of them teams don't play hardly no defense, and it's hard to score 30+ points every week and be able to win. If you got to score that many points to win.
Well, that shows you because, I mean, Notre Dame's not a real great offensive team, and they put up 30-some points on them, and they're not a real good offensive team. And then Notre Dame's a good defensive team, and they shut USC down. So
my favorite, I like Michigan right now. I really like Michigan right now.
I agree with you. I think Michigan, and of course you got to put Georgia up there till somebody beats them. But I like Michigan too.
And I think it's going to see a good game this weekend with Ohio State and Penn State.
I wouldn't be shocked if Penn State beats them.
I think it's going to be a good game. Penn State's a good team. I think they're getting overlooked a little bit. This would be their chance to get that big win and kind of get on people's radar. All right, my picks for today: Phillies money line, Liberty minus 14.5, Western Kentucky minus 8.5, South Alabama minus 18.5, hockey Tampa Bay Lightning money line, Avalanche money line, and the Golden Knights money line. Want to thank everybody for watching. We'll be back tomorrow, right around 3:00 with another episode of Easy Money, a sports betting show. Hope everybody has a great Tuesday night. Enjoy some baseball and some college football, and we'll see you guys tomorrow.